When I say the name Roger Dubuis, this name is synonymous with innovation, technical advancement, futuristic timepieces. 1995, Monsieur Roger Dubuis founded this brand upon his experience working in Longines, Patek Philippe. In a few years, he got the Poinçon de Genève, the Genevan seal, and then he was producing all his watches in-house by the year 2003. Fast forward to this year, to right now, Roger Dubuis is making super technically forward watches. You've got timepieces like the Quatuor, which has 3 registered patents, 4 sprung balances. Of course, sprung balances were advanced and applied in all sorts of ways by Mr. Roger Dubuis. This watch also has 5 differentials. It is my honor and privilege to be speaking with the CEO of this exciting brand today, Mr. Nicola Andreatta. Welcome to Revolution, Mr. Nicola Andreatta.
Thank you, Andre, and thank you so much for the very comprehensive presentation you made of the brand. I think we are exactly what you said. We are probably one of the most innovative brands in the watchmaking, in the fine watchmaking world today. A brand which is very much anchored into the tradition of watchmaking, as the Geneva Seal says, but who loves to push the boundaries, who loves to keep exploring, and who loves inventing the future of fine watchmaking. This is really probably one of the most important tasks we have today, that of evolving the fine watchmaking world into the future of the industry.
If I look at the top supercars in the world, if I imagine that supercar as a watch, it would be a Roger Dubuis watch. Right now, under your leadership, the brand is no rules, our game. What does that mean to you, and what do you hope to achieve with Roger Dubuis brand right now?
It's a very good question. Well, we have a very disruptive character. You know, when we say no rules, our game, it means that in a way we create our own rules. In a way we, as I mentioned before, we want to rediscuss the way the watchmaking has been carried on for the past centuries, and find really what the watchmaking will be in the future. For us, that has to do with evolving in a more contemporary and expressive way the tradition of the fine watchmaking industry. To do that, we kind of invented a new word. You mentioned supercars. There was a moment when supercar was not enough to define the superlative of everything. And in that moment, we told ourselves we want to do the same. It's like when you get to the epitome of the watchmaking industry, a super watch wouldn't be enough to define what we do. And so we invented what we call Hyper Holorolgy. We patented that word. Hyper stands for going beyond. It's a Greek prefix that has to do with this idea of always exceeding, always going beyond. And that is very much what we do at Roger Dubuis, as I just mentioned. We want to exceed the typical world of watchmaking and coming with something very innovative, very new, redefining somehow the industry.
In this direction, could you possibly reveal what you want to build with the brand, what you want to invent with the brand in the near future?
Well, I cannot reveal everything, otherwise there's no surprise. What we love to say at Roger Dubuis is expect the unexpected, and we like to carry on with crazy complications and crazy things. But if there is one thing we told ourselves recently, in light of this hyper horology world, is that we want to revolutionize the fine watchmaking world by looking at the classical complications and finding a different edge. You know, fine watchmaking is defined by a few very important complications: a minor repeater, a perpetual calendar, a split chronograph with rattrapante. I would put also the tourbillon, which is
your flying tourbillons,
which is a very important part of our history. It's probably the dearest complication at Roger Dubuis, with a single flying tourbillon, double flying tourbillon. So a lot of different executions today in what we have been doing. The idea is to reinvent, to find a different way to express or to picture, to define these complications in the future. And we are going to come with something in the next few years that will help us redefining the world of watchmaking.
So, actually, I got to speak with your technical director, Mr. Gregory Breton, when he visited us last year. And it's so exciting that beyond creating futuristic timepieces, I understand that you can also personalize watches with Roger Dubuis right now. Could you tell us a little bit about what you can customize in a Roger Dubuis watch?
A very good question. An important part of what we do is now called rarities. For us, that's the program which cater to those unique and very important clients who want something more than the series watches. We are very exclusive in everything we do. As of today, we have limited editions that go to 88 pieces maximum.
Yes.
But we have more and more limited editions at 8 or even unique pieces. What we have seen is that luxury is becoming very personal and more personal, and people are willing to have something that nobody else has. So in that direction, we come with our rarities program. Clearly, we maintain our creative impulse, so we co-design or we co-evolve together with our clients our timepieces into something that doesn't exist. 3 years ago, we started with a very important timepiece that we presented at Watches and Wonders. It was called the one-off with a double flying tourbillon inclined at 90 degrees with a module at 12 o'clock. And this is the kind of things we do with our top clients. So we sit down together in our manufacture with our engineers, with our designers, and we co-design their beloved piece according to their taste.
It's a wonderful program. I mean, I've been following your brand since I joined the industry. Even in its early days, in the 90s, Roger Dubuis was about creating the future, inventing the future. In the 2000s was also about the future. Right now, 2023, we are also looking at timepieces that people have never even seen before. But we must respect the past. We polled our online audience, our social media followers, what they would like to see in Roger Dubuis. And one of our followers asked how much impact have the old watches of Monsieur Roger Dubuis influenced today's timepieces, such as you've got the famous Sympathy perpetual calendar with not one but two retrograde scales. You've got the Homage chronograph also, which has become an icon. It's so much sought after today. Would you ever think about bringing those pieces back as tribute pieces, or do they inspire today's Roger Dubuis pieces?
Well, we certainly, as I said, we certainly are anchored to the past and to the tradition of watchmaking. But as I just said, we want to define the future. And that's a key point for our strategic development. We look forward. We like to say that the heritage for us is our future. We tend not to look back. We did amazing things. We did beautiful things. Sympathy is one of them, as you just mentioned. Homage, everything we did helped us define what we are today. But we have a rather limited history. We are a baby in the world of watchmaking.
True.
Only 28 years of history is really nothing compared to most of our colleagues. That said, and especially because of that, we cannot fail into looking back. We need to keep exploring, keep looking forward, and this is really what we want to do. So for the foreseeable future, thanks to the creativity that the brand expresses and that all my team are taking into what they do, I don't think we need to go back in time. For the moment, we need to keep exploring and keep writing the future, and that's definitely what we're going to do. I don't plan to reissue timepieces from the past, at least for, as I mentioned, for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
I have to say that I'm extremely happy about the Excalibur restyle we came up in the last 3 years. The 42 millimeters I'm wearing today is a watch which is incredibly nice to wear, and I think it's also the perfect size when you start having complications. So I think that's the sweet spot for the brand, and I think that's where we're going to continue, not excluding to have a smaller sizes in the future.
I noticed that your watches are very inspired by extreme sports like racing, diving, what do you call it? Skydiving.
Oh yeah.
Racing through the mountains, skiing. Would you ever consider creating a dive watch? One of our fans asked.
Well, in the past we did it.
Yeah.
And I don't exclude in the future it might be again the case. That said, we have chosen very carefully the territories where the brand expresses itself. And recently there were two main, I would say, territories or influences. The motorsport on one side,
Yeah.
which talks about strong emotions, adrenaline, life lived on the edge,
Yeah.
and what we call urban culture. So working more in the contemporary art world about expressing yourself, about thinking about different perspectives into what we do. So all in all, we need to be consistent with our strategy. When we open too many worlds, it's going to be difficult then to support our brand in the evolution of our brand. That's why I think for the next few years we're going to continue within these two territories, and whatever goes in, we could be scuba diving, then probably we'll find a way to support it. But in the short term, I don't think, for the moment, we don't have any plan into that.
It's very exciting. Maybe if I could round off this interview, let me ask you, what do you hope to accomplish with the brand, if you could summarize it into one or two sentences?
Well, I would love for Roger Dubuis to find exactly its place in the world of watchmaking, and I would love for people to talk about the future of fine watchmaking when they talk about Roger Dubuis. So I don't like to express or to judge myself the work we are doing. I love for people to judge our work, and I would love for people to define Roger Dubuis as the future of watchmaking, as the most exciting way to live hyper horology.
Nice. It's a very beautiful future, and I hope we can achieve that and see that in the years and the decades to come. Thank you. This has been CEO of Roger Dubuis, Mr. Nicola Andreatta. And this is Roger Dubuis, No Rules, Our Game.